So I really want to do a pumpkin project with one of the Dollar Tree pumpkins, and these fabric ones are styrofoam, bright white. You don't have to really do anything to them to be able to decoupage over them. I love blue and white, so I wanted to do a set of blue and white pumpkins that remind me of like those old China patterns. So I grabbed this sheet of Autumn Sage Creations decoupage paper, and here I'm just dry fitting after I used water to cut a piece out of the big sheet. DIY Liquid Patina works really well with the tissue paper decoupage because it's nice and thin and it's easy to not get any of those lumps and bumps underneath. Then I use water on a different brush to try to get it to, well, I guess I didn't switch to a different brush yet, but I do switch to a different brush just so the wrinkles get worked out. If you use just a little bit of water, and I just keep going back and forth, you'll see between brushes. Work partway down at a time. You have to push down to get into all those grooves of the pumpkin. And sometimes I'll do a little tear and sort of like overlap a little bit, sort of put like a pleat in the paper. You never even see it because the paper's so thin. And then I sped it up here because it's just repeating the same process over and over and over again until the pumpkin's completely covered. It didn't work to like match the pattern so much, but just enough so that nothing looked totally overlapped and weird. Sort of like, wallpaper. You match patterns. And I don't know about you, but at least when I was young doing it with my mom, we'd have that little bit where he really didn't have enough wallpaper and you just had to make it sort of a match. See, there's a couple little tears. I just took little pieces, patched it over, and it doesn't really show. Then we coat the whole top with liquid patina to seal over all of it, and then we'll let that dry. And then I just took a section that had a tinier print on it for the two other little pumpkins that I got. We picked these up from the Dollar Tree. Nope, sorry. It was Dollar General, and they were actually on clearance. They're sort of yellow. They came in a bag with about 6 little pumpkins in them. So it's just a coat of beadboard to brighten it up so that that yellow didn't come through and not let the paper be as bright as we wanted. Especially since this pattern had more of a white area. Obviously sped up. I don't work this fast. I decided it needed a little more shine, so we put a coat of Big Top on over all the pumpkins, including the stems, and then set them back aside to let them dry. To go with my blue white pumpkins, I want to do a little pot, and I've got this hops. So I've got to first just dry brush this with vintage linen so I can put the blue transfer. This is from the traditional pots, and I'm down to choosing between these two. I haven't decided yet. Just want to make a little grouping with this, little pots. So I'm using a chip brush, dabbing a little paint off. Oops, doing all that of it. Dabbing it off. I can't remember where I picked up these little pots. It actually might have been IKEA, but I think it was last year. I personally like to go all directions. I don't want it to look painted. I want it to look more worn off. Good thing is I can always put it down and take it back if I don't like it. So like that. I think that would do enough to let the transfer pop. But I'll dry it and seal it with some liquid patina, just because I'm not brave enough yet to do the transfer without sealing. I know some people do. Okay, so I've also got this charger I picked up over at the Dollar General, not Dollar Tree, Dollar General. And where most stuff is over $1, they were actually $1. But I think I want to throw a little bit of white on it just to soften it a bit. I want this one to be more of a wash. That's the trick. Just use the paint off of that towel. Yeah, I think I like that better. And we'll let that dry. Okay, so I was looking at the pumpkins, and I think their little stems need a little bit of dark and decrepit, just a tiny bit, because I think they're just a little too blue. Darken them a tiny bit, sort of take the bright out of them. Simple. Look how much it changed it. I like that. Okay, I have to decide between these two. I'm thinking I want it to be something that could also switch over to Christmas, because we could pop those hops out and put a little Christmas tree in. I'm not laying it down, I'm just hovering. I think this one, for some reason, even though this is like angels, I don't know. This one speaks to me. I'm actually gonna trim this a little so it quits catching up on the trim. Let's use the heat of our hands to get it started. These little transfers are a good way to get started. You start with a really big one, it can get overwhelming. So you learn the tricks with the little ones. And we'll put a coat of patina over top just to seal it. Soften it a little with either dark and decrepit or the old and gray, because it's a little stark compared to the pumpkins, but that might be fine. I think that actually just softens it a little, which is nice. Yep, I think that's all it needed. It's enough for a simple little accent on a small table or maybe even the kitchen counter. What do you think? If you haven't already, please subscribe, like this video, and share it with somebody you know. Thanks.